friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Melissa. Today I have for you a week's worth of meals that we had last week, and hopefully they will help with your meal planning for this new week coming up. So stay tuned so you don't miss any of it. As usual on a Sunday night, we always like to keep it simple. This night I just made egg salad sandwiches, and all I do is boil my eggs, chop them up, add mayo, salt, and pepper, and that is it. We had this with some chips, and I had it with pickle and some wheat thins. The next night I was in the mood for spaghetti, and I'm not going to bore you with how I make spaghetti because I use jarred sauce, but I did make it with fried okra, and I thought I bought spaghetti noodles, but it was long macaroni. Have you ever heard of a long macaroni, and what do you use long macaroni with? But anyway, I served it with garlic bread, and I love spaghetti, so it's always one of my favorites. So that's what we had that night. As I've told you in several of my videos, we love eating salad, and so I'm not going to bore you again with how I make it because I made it last week, and it just is something that is very quick and something that we really enjoy. So this night we had salad. On the next night we had a creamy garlic pasta, and I was supposed to have chicken in it, but when we cooked our salad, my husband used all the chicken, so we just have sausage. But it's just really simple. I just put I slice the sausage, and then I add peppers and onions to the skillet, and I just cook the sausage with the peppers and onions until they are done. And this probably takes about 10 or 15 minutes because I do use frozen veggies, and so it does take a little bit longer for it to cook because once the veggies kind of thaw, it releases a lot of liquid. So while that's cooking, I cook some penne pasta according to package instructions. Now my sausage is done, so I am going to take it out of the skillet and just use the same skillet. I'm going to add butter to the skillet and let it melt. And I use probably, I'm actually going to post a link to the creamy garlic sauce recipe. And I'm doubling that recipe actually. So I have my butter's melted. Now I'm just going to add the garlic, and I probably do add a little more garlic than what the recipe calls for, even though I'm doubling it, just because I really want it very flavorful. So I let the garlic cook in the butter for about 30 to 45 seconds, but I stir it continually. It's on a medium heat. I don't want the garlic to burn. So once it starts getting fragrant, then I know that the garlic is ready. Then I'm going to add some flour to this, and this is going to help the sauce to thicken. And I'm just going to stir that flour in there until the flour no longer has kind of a floury smell, but you can kind of tell that it kind of incorporates with that garlic and butter. Then the recipe for this calls for half and half, but I like to use heavy whipping cream. And so the first part of what I do, I add the heavy whipping cream. Then I stir it up and let it start cooking. And once it starts to thicken, then I add some more half and half. And you want to cook it on kind of a medium low to medium heat. And you can kind of see here that is starting to thicken up. So then I add some half and half to that until I get it to a consistency that I think I like. I don't want it too, I guess liquidy, but I also don't want it super thick because I want it to be able to coat that pasta really good. So I'm just cooking my sauce until I like how it looks. Then it says to use grated Parmesan cheese, and I refuse to buy a whole pack of Parmesan cheese because I never use it all. So I just have this Parmesan, and that's what I use. And it's fine. It works out fine. You just want that Parmesan flavor in there. Stir this up, and once that Parmesan kind of incorporates well, then that is when I am going to add my pasta. I add my pasta first because I want to make sure that all of the pasta gets coated with that sauce. So I'm going to stir this up real good, and then once the pasta is coated really well, then I add back that sausage and bell pepper and onion. And then of course, if you want to add chicken to it, which I was supposed to, but you'll add all of that back to this pasta and stir it up, and it's pretty much done at this point. So I'm just going to put this back in here and get it stirred up. And this is what it looks like when it's all put together. It smells so good and it tastes just as good. I served it with a salad. You can serve it with garlic bread, but we decided to forego the bread since we're having all that pasta and butter. So on Thursday, my son was coming into town from Texas, and he requested vegetable soup. So I have some beef tips in the crock pot, and they are frozen, but I just put them in there anyway. And then I have several bags of like half-used vegetables. I did use some sweet potatoes. I have the 2 bags of mixed vegetables. I did buy some lima beans because I love lima beans in my vegetable soup. And then I added a can of diced tomatoes because I didn't have enough of the sweet potatoes, and one of the bags of mixed vegetables, there wasn't a lot. So I did buy a can of the mixed vegetables, or the potatoes rather. Then I added a can of Rotel, and I added 4 cups of water to that. And then I'm going to start seasoning, which for my vegetable soup, I actually don't use that much seasoning. I use pepper, salt, and garlic powder. And sometimes I'll put in like oregano and thyme, but this night I didn't. I just used the salt and pepper and garlic, and then I mixed that up just a little bit, as much as I could, considering that frozen beef tips were at the bottom. But I get that mixed up, and then I add a bay leaf, and depending on the size of your bay leaf, this was a pretty good size, so I just added 1. And since I didn't use broth, I am adding some beef base to the water, so that'll give it that beef broth flavor. And then I add a couple splashes of Worcestershire, and that's all I use to season my vegetable soup. And then I cook it, and or put the lid on, and I cook it on low, I think for 7.5 hours, or did I put it on 8? Let's see, what did I put it on? 8 hours. So once I got home, I did take some of the juice out and add a little bit of flour to it, just to kind of get it a little bit thicker, because I don't like my vegetable soup super watery. So I did add that, and it kind of made it a little bit thicker. And then we had this with cornbread, and it was absolutely delicious. went out to eat on Friday night, and I forgot to film that, what we had. But anyway, we went out to eat. But Saturday, my son requested sliders. So I fried up some bacon. I sauteed some diced onions in the bacon grease. And now I'm going to take the ground beef. And these are burger patties. They didn't have slider patties. So I'm just making them this, like I'm breaking part of them off and making them the size of the sliders. Once those are all done, I put the onions on top of the beef, then I put some cheese. Now I'm putting the bacon, then I put the barbecue sauce on top, and then I put the tops back on, and I have some butter on top of that. And I let that cook for just a few minutes, just until those slider buns get nice and warm. And then before I put this in the oven, I had some tots cooking. So we had our sliders with tater tots. These are so good. So that is what we had this week for dinner. I hope you got some ideas that you would like to use for your meal planning. And leave me a comment below, and don't forget to like the video, because those interactions do help me out with YouTube. And if you're new to my channel and you like all things homemaking, whether it's recipe ideas, meal ideas, home decor, shopping hauls, then I would love it if you would click subscribe and be a part of my YouTube family. And if you need more dinner ideas, then check out the box you see on the screen right now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.